It's wild when you think about it. Why do some businesses just explode onto the scene, while others with maybe even better products just fizzle out? Well, a lot of the time, it comes down to something super simple: the words they use. Today, we're going to break down a framework that shows you how using the right words isn't just a nice to have. It's probably the most powerful thing you can do to grow your business. So let me just ask you this, straight up. Are the words on your website, in your emails, and in your ads actually helping you? Are they making you money? Or are they accidentally killing your business, confusing customers, making their eyes glaze over, and basically just sending them right into the arms of your competition? Because if your message is fuzzy, your business just isn't going to fly. And that brings us to the single most important rule of this whole thing. Seriously, if you remember one thing, make it this: if you confuse, you will lose. See, confusion is the absolute #1 enemy of sales. The moment a customer has to burn even a couple of brain cells trying to figure out what you're offering, they're gone. They just bounce. And we're not talking about small potatoes here. The opportunity is massive. Get this. The source material for this explainer talks about a business that doubled its annual revenue from $100 million to $200 million just by changing their tagline. Not their product, not their team, their words. That's the kind of power we're talking about. Okay, let's start with a little bit of a hard truth. Most businesses are wasting an unbelievable amount of money on marketing. But it's not because their website design is bad or their logo is off. Nope. It's because the words they're using are a total catastrophe. They're trying so hard to sound clever and sophisticated when all a customer really truly wants is for you to be clear. And this, right here, just nails it. Look at the left side. Trust is the commodity we exchange. I mean, it sounds kind of fancy, right? But what does it actually mean? Nothing. Now look at the right. We put a roof on your house, on budget, and on time. Bam! You know exactly what they do, who they do it for, and the value they bring. One of those sells. The other one just doesn't. So to really get why clarity is like a superpower, we have to understand the machine we're talking to, the human brain. Your customers, they're giving you maybe 2 seconds, tops, to explain how you're going to make their life better. And to pass that 2-second test, you have to know what their brain is actually looking for. Okay, here's the deal. At any given moment, the human brain is pretty much doing 2 things. First, it's a survival machine. It's constantly scanning the world for anything that will help it, survive and thrive. Things that help it make money, save time, build relationships. And second, its other main job is to conserve energy. It will actively ignore anything that feels too complicated.
And you want to know why it's so lazy? It's all about calories. Your brain, even though it's pretty small, is the #1 calorie-burning organ in your body. We're talking about 20% of your daily energy. It's a supercomputer, sure, but it does not want to work any harder than it absolutely has to. So unless your message immediately screams, "Hey, I'm relevant to your survival," the brain just tunes it out to save fuel.
Let's make this super practical. Imagine you're at a party and you meet 2 chefs. The first one says, "I'm an at-home chef." Okay, cool. But then the second chef says, "I'm an at-home chef. I come to your house so your family can connect over a healthy meal and you don't have to cook or clean." Whoa, see the difference? He didn't just sell cooking. He sold a survival asset: family connection, health, saving time. Who gets all the business? Chef number 2, every single time. Same product, different message. All right, so if the brain is wired to ignore us, how in the world do we break through all that noise? Well, the answer isn't some new, flashy marketing gimmick. It's actually a framework that's been working for like 2,500 years. It's the simple structure of a story, which it turns out is hardwired into our brains to grab and hold our attention like nothing else. Now, seriously, think about it. They say the human brain daydreams something like 30% of the time. But have you ever been watching a great movie and 2 hours just fly by? You're completely locked in. Story has this incredible, almost magical ability to bypass all the brain's filters. And guess what? We can use that exact same structure to make our marketing impossible to ignore. So this ancient story formula, we can actually break it down into 7 essential pieces, or sound bites, that every single business needs to figure out. These are the building blocks that will let you transform your confusing message into a clear, compelling story that customers actually want to be a part of. Okay, here it is, the whole shebang right on your screen. A character who wants something runs into a problem. Then they meet a guide who gives them a plan and calls them to action. That action helps them avoid failure and ends in success. Literally, every great story you've ever heard follows this pattern, and so should your customer's journey with you.
All right, let's start with the first two, because honestly, they're the most important. First up, the character. This is your customer. You have to be able to define the one single thing they want, not 10 things, one. And second, the problem. This is the hook, people. Nobody buys anything unless it solves a problem for them. If you can't clearly talk about the problem you solve, you're giving them zero reason to buy from you. And this right here brings us to the biggest mindset shift you have to make. Your customer is the hero of the story, not your business. Think about it. Heroes in movies, they start out kind of weak, confused, they need help. The guide, on the other hand, that's the strongest character in the story. They're Yoda, they're Mr. Miyagi. They are strong, they get it, and they have the plan. Your business has to be the guide.
And making yourself the hero isn't just a small mistake. It can have massive consequences. Let's look at a real-world example where the stakes couldn't have been higher. The 2016 Hillary Clinton campaign's tagline was, "I'm with her." Now, this positioned the campaign as the hero that the voter needed to support, instead of positioning the voter as the hero that the campaign would guide to a better future. It broke the rule, and it was a really costly error. So once you're the guide, what do? You make it ridiculously easy for the hero to win. First, you give them a simple 3-step plan. Don't give them a 12-point checklist, you'll overwhelm them. And second, you have to call them to action. Tell them exactly what to do next. Buy now, schedule a call, get your quote. You can't be timid about it. And finally, every good story needs stakes. You've got to paint a picture of what can be won or lost. What amazing, wonderful change is going to happen in your customer's life if they use your product. That's success. And what's the downside? What negative thing are they going to have to deal with if they don't? That's failure. This creates urgency and gives them a really good reason to act now. Okay, so you've got these 7 sound bites. What do you do with them? How do you actually turn this stuff into sales? Well, you assemble them into what we call a messaging campaign. And this is actually way more important than a marketing campaign, because when you have the right words, every single dollar you spend on marketing becomes infinitely more effective. So a messaging campaign is just a series of ideas told through these simple, repeatable sound bites that always positions your product as the answer to your customers' problems. It's like the verbal DNA for your whole business. And with it, a $10,000 marketing budget can crush a competitor who's spending $100,000. And this campaign works on 3 different levels. First, you need some short, punchy stuff just to spark a curiosity. Think taglines. Second, you need some longer form content for what we'd call due diligence, where people can learn more and build trust. And third, you need those super clear, direct calls to action to actually close the deal. But here's the problem. Most businesses are like a house with no front steps and a front door that's boarded up. They're missing those crucial curiosity sound bites to even invite people in, and their calls to action are so weak or hidden that nobody knows how to get inside. A clear messaging campaign fixes all of that. It makes your business feel warm and inviting. Look, if you forget everything else from this entire explainer, please remember this one thing. Be clear, not clever. Clarity is what connects with the human brain. Clarity is what builds trust. And clarity is what's going to grow your business. So stop trying to sound so smart and just start solving your customers' problems with simple, direct words. So I'll just leave you with this final question to chew on. Go look at your website, look at your emails, your social media. Is your customer the hero of the story you're telling? Are you positioned as their trusted guide? Or is it just a confusing, self-centered mess that nobody really wants to be a part of? Seriously, what story is your business really telling?